essentially fucked us over right here. All right, so our bit rate, that's better. Now it's getting 5 kilobits a second, which is all that we deserve. Yeah, we may
stream ended
again with this shit. All right, hold on.
Okay, now it's live again.
Now it's live again.
Good thing we're all good at computers.
Now we got.
Well, this is not like a
and
computers thing. This is an issue.
Okay, now the stream looks good on YouTube.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I'm getting a steady 5,000 kilo biggers per second. So I think we're okay.
Yeah.
So the truth.
Yeah, we're good now. Looks good.
Nothing to put me in the adventuring mood, like a bunch of fucking computer shit breaking. It's fucking ridiculous right there. All right, hold on.
It's coming through good for me as well.
Let me see here. I'm blind. All right, there we go. Ooh. All right. That's a little better than you two. Cool. All right. Well, thank you to everybody who had the patience to get through that. Is it still the same URL that's working?
Yeah.
Yes,
the one in the topic is correct.
Okay, cool.
And so I updated the topic with this one.
To give you an idea of like how my fucking day is going so far, like the only thing I have in the buffer of pound LRH is sulfur hex and then like 20 backslashes over there, and that's fucking it. Oh, we don't have to mass highlight everybody, Stratum. In fact, I would have rather he didn't, but I'm purple now.
Most people are watching Dark Mage right now, so
that's all right. Honestly, I would not watch Dark Mage if my fucking life depended on it. So,
it's pretty funny. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, there's some gold in there.
Oh, yeah. I watched on Nadia and like just the look on his face when Arab took his channel over, and I was just like, like it did not make me feel good about myself as a person. I wish that I was dead while I was watching, and even that was like the edited feed, right? The people who had to sit there and watch it for like hours and hours. Yeah, I didn't realize that we were competing with Dark Mage. But yeah, anyhow, well, welcome back to our 1 or 2 viewers who have been eagerly awaiting the return of Irc D&D. I know I have. Jesus, it's been a long time. We had a lot of technical difficulties, sexual difficulties, but we're back and about to begin a very short adventure to get back into the swing of things. To my absolute furthest left is Angie, our ranger, and then at some point, I don't know if we can get Puppy and Mila in the new basement configuration there.
You might see them walking around back
all right,
there.
but yeah, her animal companions are Puppy, Mila, and Fisk the bear, who is on hiatus this week. Then to her immediate left and the center is Kuntz, our mage. He's got Glitch the cat, who was surprised. That's the most docile I've ever seen that cat. That cat's wild. That cat's wild as hell. Then at our bottom left is Logic, our thief, aka the Demon Slayer. And then at the bottom right is Zartet, our druid, in his sex dungeon. Looking good. And I'm Zach ZYZ, writer and philanthropist. So yeah, I want to welcome everybody to Irc D&D. You can see in the previous adventures, a bunch of crazy shit has gone down. Just an essential run back is that our player characters here were sent on a ship to apologize for their crimes to King Geordie the Little in person, lest they be hanged. And along the way, they got into a shipwreck. They were marooned on the coast of this island and have gotten into an increasingly crazy series of adventures ever since. And in fact, lo, the very fate of the island, no, the world, may hang in the balance. They love you. But so in terms of the progression of our adventures, they've been all over this island. They've helped some people out. They've just murdered a lot of other people. Gotten into adventures. Communed with the gods. Wagered, been celebrated. They've lost, they've won, just fantastic adventures all around. And it's been a while since we did this. I'd like to get back to where this all began. So if you've been following the adventure, you know that the party is about to set off across this shoal bridge called the Daramaeus that will probably be the conclusion of our thrilling adventure. One way or another, they've got to put an end to what's happening on the Daramaeus. So our story takes us back to the Cove Keep, where I guess the party just explored. I think in our last adventure, they explored a dungeon that would flood when the tide came in. They met a wizened old druid who was barely alive, more skin and bones than anything else, and encountered a fearsome sorcerer who had 2 tongues and could cast 2 dire incantations at the same time. So on the eve of all of that, the party begins to prepare for the arduous trek across the Daramaeus. And it's especially troublesome because it looks more and more like the source of the corruption that is sweeping across the land is indeed the Daramaeus. So the night before, everyone settles in trying to get as much sleep as they possibly can before our final countdown begins. And everyone in the party, unbeknownst to each other, has the same dream. And it's a dream of the town of Pies, which is one of the first locations that the party visited here. Once upon a time, long, long ago, before all the fame and the fortune and the Wabigos and Fisks of the world, everybody here was just a simple, relatively happy dweller of this town called Pies. Back in the day, Zartet had his own farm, Goodberry Farms, which we later found was ravaged. But he was a well-respected member of the community, always sticking his neck out to help heal somebody who was sick or to guide somebody to sustainable farming practices. At the time, Logic and Kuntz were best friends. Logic was always getting into some kind of trouble, and Kuntz was always making it worse. Kuntz known for running his mouth all over town. Logic known for being somewhat shady. And at the time, Angie was a tax collector in the service of King Geordie the Little, a ranger who moved from town to town, collecting taxes and beating the stuffing out of any truculent townsperson who dared to not pay their rightful share.
Yeah, give me your money.
So our adventure takes place in a little inn called the 4 of 4 Tavern. And all the 4 of you are there. At the moment, Logic and Kuntz, you know Zartet. In fact, I believe one of you has worked on his farm at some point. Angie, you have also met Zartet. You've had to collect taxes from him many a time. Zartet is well known and well loved, but I believe something of a recluse. And he's sitting at the bar, kind of by himself, keeping up a little bit of a conversation with the bartender. The bartender.
Do we have the goat?
Say that again.
Do we have the goat?
No, it's been like at this time
before even the goat happened.
Yeah, it's before the goat. This is almost at this point. It's like almost a year ago that this all went down. Maybe not quite that long, but long before your reputation had spread across the land. So Logic, you and Kuntz are sitting at a table playing cards, and both of you are very, very, very hungover, and you're trying to remember which girl each of you went home with last night, and you're just like not able to pierce it together from your foggy memories and so forth. And Angie, you have been sent in to collect tax. So this is the 4 of 4 Tavern right here. Behind the bar is a large man with a big red beard, and he's approximately the shape of a beer keg. Just a very stout individual right there. And everybody knows him as Slagger Red. So Slagger Red runs 4 of 4. He's known for getting absolutely just as drunk as his patrons. And many a time, Like people will throw him out of his own bar because he's too drunk, and his wife will show up and tend bar for a little bit. Then it's actually relatively busy tonight. You can see a group of 3 or 4 farmers. Zartet, sometimes you'll have them come in and help you bring in the harvest when the good berries are plentiful.
My
Good
itinerant
berry farm.
workers.
Yeah, sometimes they'll work for you. Sometimes you go and help them with their things. So there's a group, I might say 4 or 5 fairly drunk, fairly rowdy farmers hanging out in the left corner of the bar. And then sort of over at the right corner of the bar, a group of soldiers have taken 4 or 5 of the tables and pushed them all together. And anybody who approaches, they tell them to take a hike for the moment. You can see that these are King Geordie's men. They're loud, they're raucous, and they're very handsy with Slagger Red's wife. And she's having none of it. From time to time, you just hear her like, I got that shit in it. Her just shouting off in the background. So Angie, you enter the scene, and immediately when you step into the door, a lot of people are like, it's the tax man. And you see one guy notably slip out through the back, and another guy just gives you like the thumbs down when you make eye contact with him. He's just like,
Rude.
this fucking there. So you are here today because Slagger Red is a little bit in Slagger arrears on his tax.
What's besides Angie, what's all of our relationship with Slagger? Do we like the guy? I mean, he's amenable.
Slagger is a hell of a guy, to tell you the truth. He's very nice, but he drinks to excess, even for a man who drinks to excess. The whole reason that he started a bar was that he was going to be in a bar every day for the rest of his life, and he figured he might as well make a living of it. But so far, he's not doing the greatest job. And 4 over 4 is not in the greatest shape there. It looks like Slagger Red and his wife try to keep the place up, but all of the repairs are kind of half-assed. Like the door just squeaks like crazy when you come in. And you can see like little greasy smears of bacon fat where he tried to oil the hinge. Or maybe he was just like eating a sandwich and talking about trying to oil the hinge. A lot of the chairs are kind of lopsided, and a lot of the tables have like little like sticks and stuff stuck under a leg or two to keep them upright. But generally, the people of Pies don't care because it's the only bar in town. So if they don't like it, they can drink elsewhere. So Angie, as you're kind of standing in the door, getting reviled by everyone there, you just see movement out of the corner of your eye. And real quick, what is your dexterity, Angie? It's been a while there. Once upon a time, we would have known this.
15.
15? Okay. So out of the corner of your eye, you see something red hurtling towards you.
No.
And it doesn't take too long to piece together exactly what's happening. You raise a hand and catch the apple that has just been hurled at you. And somebody really wound up for this. It hits your palm hard enough to sting. And but now you have an apple. You immediately look across the room, and you see that, in fact, it was one of the soldiers that threw it to you. One of King Geordie's men. The same King Geordie's men who you serve with, who have no real business throwing apples at you. But you can see that whoever threw it just ducks into the crowd of people, and the other soldiers are laughing at him because he failed to bean you with the apple. Also, it's like a good apple. We should have thrown a rotten one at you, but this is like a brand new apple. Good to go.
Yeah, free apple. What the hell?
So immediately, seeing this happen, Slagger Red turns towards the group of soldiers and says, "Whatever cunt did that, get out of my bar." And all that happens back is just they laugh at him. They are, and he has no idea who threw it. He seems confused and irritable. And you realize as he spins back around that he is already like more than half in the bag, and a little bit slurring his speech there. So that's the situation here in the bar. It doesn't seem like the soldiers are going to take it any further from this point. They're already calling for another round of drinks, and it looks like Slagger Red has already forgotten what he was mad about.
Does Angie look like she has like money on her?
Yeah, she absolutely looks like she has some money on her.
Huh.
So I'm just here to ask to collect money, right?
Yeah, like that's what tax collectors do. They go and get money.
I should just go and try to get the money.
You're gonna try and collect from Slagger Red. All right, now seems like the time.
I guess it seems like I'd just be like, "Hey, dude, please, can you give me the money you owe me?"
Okay. Well, you sidle up to the bar, and Slagger Red looks you up and down, and his gaze kind of lingers for a second, and you wonder, like if he's like giving you the eye, or if he's upset or whatever. But then his head is just like, and you realize that he is just kind of spaced out. He says, I need a drink. Like, come over here and join me. Drinks for all. And by all, he means you and Zartet. You're the only ones at the bar. So he starts pouring.
Okay.
He starts pouring a beer for all three of you. And almost immediately, like, forgetting what was going on, he's like, come in, traveler. Tell us your tale. And so Logic and Kuntz, you can try to get in on this free drink action if you want to. Because when Slagger Red says drinks for all, anybody who's at the bar, he will pour for and he will forget to charge. So
yes, my dexterity is 16, and I'm going to grab Kuntz, and we're sitting at the bar. But on the way up, I have a question. What's our money bag made of?
Well, you can't see exactly where her money is. She doesn't just carry like a sack with a dollar sign on her. There, it's concealed somewhere on her person.
Okay.
And you notice also that she's also armed. At this point, Logic, you have a small knife. Kuntz is not armed in any way, shape, or form. He only has his wits and his magic.
I have magic missile.
But did you take magic missile? I thought you took friends.
Yeah. No, I took friends sucks because it only improves my charisma. So I went with magic missile.
You went with magic missile for a bar fight. All right. So, Zartet, you're sitting at the bar, and you see this kind of disagreeable pair sidle up to you. And now, previously, you have worked with these two guys here, and Logic was actually kind of a hard worker. Although afterward, a bunch of your chickens were missing, and you've kind of held it against him ever since. Kuntz is one of the laziest people that you've ever employed. He looks like he could be strong, but he just never does any work. And you have your own suspicions about him and your chickens. So that's how you feel about these two here. But they've joined you at the bar, and before you know it, Slagger Red is pouring all of you a big foaming mug of ale. One nice thing about having a guy who is totally sauced as the master of the tavern is he does not skimp on his ale. It is a red ale, kind of nutty and wonderful. You think he must brew it with like acorns in the mash or something.
Killian's.
Yeah. No, a little better than that. Jesus. Killian's. Irish red. So in any case, all of you.
Well, I regard Logic and Kuntz, and I say, well met, fellas. Nice to see you. I mean, I'm assuming I'm like a couple of drinks in at this point, so I'm probably not too in my cups yet, not to have warm regards for them.
You're becoming one with the elemental spirit of water at the moment. In fact, are probably overdue for a trip to the John, but free beer doesn't come along all the time. So
pour it up, Slagger.
All right. So Slagger Red has already forgotten that he asked you for his tail, for your tail, Angie, and he seems again kind of staring off into space with a not too bright look on his face. All right. So, Logic, what's your wisdom here?
My wisdom is 12. A little better than average.
Okay. Well, many years of loosening pockets around the town of Pies and other areas of in this region of Iran have told you that when somebody carries a fair bit of money on them, usually they like to keep their money belt in the small of their back, where it won't ride against their backpack, and where it's hard for somebody to get under their tunic and take it off of them. And as Angie is sitting at her stool and enjoying the beer, you notice an unusual bulge at the small of her back. Might be a money belt. Might not be. No way to tell right there.
Noted.
Angie.
Thank you.
You're here to collect, or you're here for business or pleasure?
I'm here to collect.
What time of day is it?
All right, it's actually like 3 in the
It's
afternoon.
9 a.m. We're getting drunk.
Yeah.
So it's business hours.
It's 3 in the afternoon.
Day drinking.
Yeah, everybody is kind of tore up and just trying to stay. It looks like it might storm outside, and everybody's like, might as well go in for a beer. I'm not really feeling working today, right there.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say that you're here to collect, Angie Slagger Red says, well, not for me. I paid already. And you, in fact, he did pay already about 1.5 years ago. And that's the last time that he paid tax.
It's not up to date. So,
What, do you tell him that?
yes.
He's like, what do you know about what date it is? I don't see any calendar in this place. I told you, I paid already. My money's as good as anybody else. I've given the crown all they're owed and more. Really, they should be giving money back to me.
Untrue.
Oh, are you calling me a liar?
Yeah.
What? He starts sputtering. He can't believe that you've called him a liar to his face. And he puts up his fist and says, woman or man, I'll duel you for those words.
Oh my God.
All right. So he starts moving to get around the bar. And the bar has one of those flip up type, the little door that like flips up on the side of the bar. And he flips it up and manages to sock himself in the face with it as he's trying to get out. He's really quite drunk. And you notice that his steps are kind of swimming. And as soon as he gets knocked in the face, he just, seems like he completely forgets what he was doing. And then he turns back around and says, well met, travelers. Sit down. Tell me a tale. Ale for all. He's really been drinking pretty hard since the last time that you collected tax, Angie. And seems like he might not be in full control of his faculties at the moment. So
I don't know. I might just chill because I can wait for him to pass out and take the money.
It doesn't seem
I'm
like
going
you're
to down
getting
my
anywhere.
beer really quick so I can get another free one.
He's already started pouring the more beers. He doesn't even seem to notice the ones that are on the table. And then
I tell Angie that she might be better off. So I'll just say, Angie, you might be better off speaking with Mrs. Slagger Red.
And just as if
about your
cue,
taxes.
Mrs. Slagger, whose name is Malaya, she is she's an Abixian from far down the river right there. Very nice woman, but a little bit unfortunate looking, if we're going to be true there. Well, Malaya comes up and sees like the let me count here, the 8 beers plus the 2 empty ones in front of Snit, in front of Slagger Red, and she looks at him and he's like, "Did you charge for those?" And she looks to you. "Did you pay for those beers?" And she asks,
Yes.
She asked you, Logic, okay? You're gonna have to try. And what's your charisma right there?
12, a little better
12?
than average.
All right. Well, she looks at you, and and seems like she's unconvinced, but she's not ready to call you on.
I'm gonna nudge cunts.
And right away, he says, "Of course she paid. I run a bar. What kind of barkeep doesn't take money for drinks?" And she seems over it. And so she kind of leans in towards him and says, "I've tried everything to get rid of them. I gave them the watered down beer. I told them they were out of all the food. They just, I wish we could get rid of these soldiers."
Are those people bothering you?
Yes, absolutely. Well, you're with the guard, right? Can you say something to their captain?
Yeah.
Thank you. So she is kind of like pulling you towards them and pointing out the captain of the men there. And the captain of the men there is Pierre Black. And all of you know this guy because he will literally duel people at the drop of the hat. He's a very vain, he's a very vain man with a swoop of hair over his eyes. And he's just known for picking out men who are super drunk and dueling them and trying to increase his fame. But yeah, so
what was his name again, or did you
Pierre Black?
Pierre the Black.
Mm-hmm.
Or Pierre Black, not Pierre the Black.
Well, he's black indeed, and in hair, but most people call him Pierre Black or Blackie if they're being affectionate with him, which is seldom. But in any case, he is the captain of this particular group of guardsmen. Normally, they move from town to town and just keep order and collect dues from the local town militias in exchange for the protection that they offer.
The mafia.
Essentially. Yeah, it's not too different. So they actually do like a fair bit of shaking down, but they don't collect taxes. That falls on King Geordie's tax collectors, such as Noble Angie here. So in any case, you can see that Pierre Black is at the center of the table. There are probably 5 or 6 guards like sitting around it. Here, hold on just a second. I don't know why somebody's... Yeah. I am indeed doing a D&D session right now. People who message me, are you streaming D&D right now? But anyhow, so he's sitting a bunch of them, and they are telling ribald jokes and being kind of loud. And immediately, you notice a guy kind of peeking his head up over the other people there and looking over at the cluster of the 5 or 6 farmers. And in his hand, what could possibly be there but a bright red apple? So he's trying his luck again, but he keeps ducking his head down. One of the farmers, he's a big old boy named Joe the Toe. And Joe the Toe weighs about 100 pounds, right? He's definitely the biggest man in pies. And it's not all fat, although a lot of it is fat. There's a substantial amount of muscle there. Whenever you're baling hay or chopping wood, you want Joe the Toe on your team. He is the strongest man in all of pies. So the presence of Joe the Toe keeps the apple from being thrown, but it seems like it's only a matter of time until all hell breaks loose in the 4/4
Can I attempt to kick them out? Be like, you guys aren't welcome here.
Well, there's about 6 of them, and there's one of you. So you certainly could try, but I don't think it would go so well for you.
Can I just ask them to tone it down?
Sure, you're welcome to walk up to.
The sky's the limit.
So you walk over to Black Pierre, and immediately, one of his cronies kind of grabs his shoulder. Pierre, over here. So Black Pierre wheels around in his chair. He's like, what do we have here? Have you come to see the famous Black Pierre in action?
I mean, not necessarily, but
oh, she's
I'm just
stammering.
like
Yeah, she's like,
asking
"Don't be
why.
overcome, girl. You know, I know that my fame has spread far and wide across this land, and if you want an autograph, you need but ask."
No, thank you.
Okay, well, what do you want? He says, like, I have not yet found company for the evening. You're welcome to attend if you'd like. I can take my leave of these men. I have a room just upstairs.
What are you doing,
No,
Glitch?
thank you.
Look at this cat. Amazing. Like, why are you bothering me then, essentially? Is she lost her wits?
You're
What's wrong with her?
bothering the lady over here.
Oh, hold on. What did you say, Angie?
I said you're bothering the lady over here.
He's like, I'll bother her, and I'll bother you, and I'll bother any lady that I want. I'm Pierre Black. And when he says that, he taps his hand on his side where there is an ornate rapier. And on the hilt of said rapier, there are I want to say 7 X's marked down the side of that rapier. And it catches your eye looking at him, and he taps it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He actually says that. He says, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. None of these souls went to heaven. And then a few of the guardsmen are at the table like, God, this is every time. They but as soon as oh yeah, it's a small bar, honestly.
Small bar, okay.
Yeah, it's not an enormous place, and like one of the farmers over by Joe the Toe just starts snickering at the proceedings right there, and Pierre shoots like death eyes over at him, like, but it does kind of take attention away from Angie. In any case.
Can I go and sit with the farmers?
Yeah, the farmers all know you pretty well. But if you want to go sit with them, I suggest bringing a drink or something there.
Yeah, I mean, bring a drink
as is the custom.
With them.
Yeah, so you ask for a pitcher, and Slagger Red is all too happy to provide it because it lets him pour himself another drink while it's going on. So he pours you a pitcher of beer. And you are greeted with much acclaim by the farmers there. Joe the Toe has worked on your farm many a time. And immediately, one of the men there, named Bill Morrison, starts trying to ask you what the best way is to grow arugula.
I don't grow much arugula on my farm. We grow more good berries and this kind of thing. Or I guess they're just berries at this point. I don't know if they're good berries yet.
They are good berries. You make wine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So berry wine there. So anyhow, you're quickly drawn into a conversation about agriculture, and the farmers all regard you with a degree of awe right there. The man who can grow anything. All right. So while this is going on, Kunst and Logic, you're just kind of taking in the scene here. You've been in this situation before. You know a fight.
I'm waiting for
probably about to break out.
So, yeah.
And there's usually easy pickings after a fight.
Well, I think what I'm going to do is seeing. No, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait.
You're biding your time. Well, Kunst, are you doing anything at the moment?
Sipping your beer.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out with Logic.
Okay, the two of you are just chilling. Card game forgotten. The tension in the room is beginning to go off. So now that Zartet has gone over, the odds have changed. Because there's about 6 farmers plus Zartet, so 7 of them, and they're with Black Pierre. There are only 6 soldiers. So they take immediate notice of the fact that there are now more farmers than there are soldiers. And Black Pierre,
I kind of make like a big ruckus as I sit down with the pitcher. I know everybody's happy, but I like pour everybody a beer. Yeah. We do a big toast while all of this between Angie and Black Pierre's.
So while this is going on, like Black Pierre looks at Angie and says, well, you're one of the, aren't you a tax collector?
Sure am.
Well, sit with us then. Join the party. And like, you two, the fruity ones
One
over
of
there,
us.
come sit with us. Come drink with us. And he's motioning to you two. Logic.
I'm going to look over at Zartat and the farmers. I'm going to look over at the soldiers. And I'm just going to sit and look at him.
All right, he's just sitting
I
there.
ain't going anywhere yet.
He's like, he's simple, You there, the strapping lad. And he's pointing to you, cunts, with the red hair. Get over here.
Ah.
Have a drink with us.
I nudge cunts.
All right. I grab Logic and drag him along with me.
All right, so the two of you are pulled over there. And immediately,
That's not what the nudge meant.
yeah, the two sides of the party they just try to outdo each other in carousing and drinking. When one of the soldiers takes a drink, a farmer will drain his entire drink there, and vice versa. And they start calling insults back and forth against each other. It's like, that's not how you drink a beer, and then he'll drain one. And before long, they're all just pounding their drinks, and it's all that Malaya and Slagger Red can do to keep just the beer flowing right there. Everybody is getting stupendously drunk, and anytime you don't have a drink in your hand, somebody is thrusting a drink in your hand and being drink, 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 and before you know it, the farmers are all singing a song, and the soldiers don't like their song at all there. Their song is Horace the Hog, and it's about a hog that gets into a series of misadventures in search of his true love. And so the soldiers...
Rig pig.
So the soldiers don't much like
Horace
the
the
tune
Hog.
of Horace the Hog, and they immediately begin to sing the anthem of King Geordie the Little. And
I'm singing Horace the Hog along with them.
So yeah, it becomes.
I'm going to start singing Horace the Hog at their table.
So yeah, it really throws them all off key. So it gets into like a little bit of a singing contest, and before long, it looks like the soldiers are able to like sing louder and longer. But you realize it's only because Joe the Toe has not joined into it. And Lord, when he opens his mouth, like the deepest, basest grumble that you've ever heard comes out of Big Joe the Toe, 400 pounds and then some. And it really unmans the soldiers a little bit. They stop singing. They're like, Jesus, is that a man or a whale? And like satisfied with himself, Joe the Toe dusts off his overalls and sits back down on the chair, very pleased with himself. And then the next thing you know, the chair pops. It just snaps into two pieces right there. And he falls back on the ground with this thunderclap. For a second, you wonder if he's going to fall through to the basement. But indeed, so Joe the Toe falls over, and Pierre the Black just starts laughing his ass off at Joe the Toe. It's the funniest thing that he's ever seen. And at first, some of the farmers were laughing too, because he just ate shit hardcore. But then it's not the same when it's somebody else laughing at your friend.
Right. I take immediate note. I'm like,
yeah, they all stop
who the fuck
laughing.
are these guys?
Yeah. And Zartat Joe the Toe is like a turtle on his back, right next to you there. You could offer him a hand up if you like.
Right at this moment, I'm going to lean over to Angie, and I'm going to say, can you tell him to stop? But at the same time, I'm going to put my hand right at the small of her back and try and feel for her money bag.
Okay.
Surreptitious.
So, Angie, you feel a hand touch the small of your back and immediately look over, ready to break somebody's face. because indeed that is where you keep your money belt. But it might just be an innocuous hand. Like, you might just be like, hey, like, this is about to get bad. You want to get out of here. So indeed, Logic, that is where the money is kept. So Angie, it's up to you how you want to react
Tell him to stop.
the scofflaw.
I'm gonna be like, what the hell? Excuse me?
Just you gotta stop this before it starts.
So Zartet,
So you removed your hand.
it takes you and Arugula Man to get Joe the Toe back to his feet. And he immediately turns around to Slagger Red and points at the chair as if the chair is at fault there. And Slagger Red just throws up his hands and he's like, sit on the floor where you belong. And Joe the Toe just looks a little ashamed of what he's done there. And then after he says, sit on the floor where you belong, one of the soldiers pipes up and he's like, yeah, put him out in the back with the pigs. Ooh. Yeah. And the joke really doesn't land that well. And as Joe the Toe is trying to come up with a comeback, what happens is that an apple flies through the air.
Oh no.
Who's throwing apples?
I'm like, hey, Joe, you don't have to take that. And there's just like apple flying in slow motion.
The apple actually bounces right off of the top of Joe the Toe's head. And for a second, you can see his lower lip kind of doing like a little tremble thing. And his face
domed by an apple.
He looks like he's about to cry, honestly. He broke his chair. The bartender yelled at him. And he actually does start to cry. Like
Joe.
Big
Oh my
weeping
God.
tears. He's just sobbing. And as soon as he starts crying, you see all the people at the table with him. They're just backing away. They're wallflowers now. They're lining the walls and everything. And he keeps crying, and Pierre Black is like, "Oh, little girl, are you sad?" Woo-hoo, doing this thing, making fun of him there, and all the soldiers are jeering at him, calling him a coward and a crybaby and this and that, and his face, Joe the Toe's face, is just getting redder and redder and redder.
Can I throw my apple at?
You do still have an apple, Angie. So you can do whatever you want with your apple. Yeah. So you can see the guy that threw him. The guy that threw it is like this weedy little rat-faced guy that just always seems to be like ducking around behind other people.
Yeah, I want to nail him in the face with the apple.
Okay. So let's see if you were successful in beating Ratface with the apple. So unfortunately, he's a crafty little one there. So your apple flies wide, and the other people at the table are like, "Why?" And they just point at you. Like, she's the one what threw the apple. So Big Joe the Toe is crying. All the other farmers are just stepping away. You see one of them try to slip out the door to the back there, but the door is jammed. This is another one of the expert repairs of Slagger Red. And
one of the farmers did that? I'm sorry?
Yeah, one of the farmers is trying to dip out, but the door won't open. It's like wedged shut.
Joe the Toe's going to kill everybody in this place.
He's
I'm
really
trying to calm Joe down.
Oh yeah. Like when you reach out a hand and try to calm Joe the Toe down, and he whips out a hand and shoves you. Ooh. Zartet, you actually fly through the air, and you're not a small man, but he just like flings you aside like a rag doll, and you actually crash against an empty table and snap it in half. you take 1 point of damage from falling kind of funny there.
Oh shit!
But be careful, we don't have many
and
of those.
Then the soldiers who were laughing so hard and making fun of Joe the Toe see that happen, and they stop laughing right away, and he just starts moving towards them, and you can feel each step on the floor, like the boards.
I'm gonna get up from the table and step way back.
All right, so Logic, you try to take a step back, and you hear Pierre Black say, "We can't take us all, boys," and no one seems to agree with him. Other soldiers are backing away from the table, and he charges just like a rhinoceros. That's like a bull unloosed. He wails towards that table with those heavy, heavy steps and just smashes into those soldiers. And really, he scatters them like a game of 10 pins. They go flying each way. And the next thing you know, Joe the Toe is just by himself, taking on all 6 of these soldiers. And Kuntz and Logic, you were scrambling to get out of the way right there. Kuntz, Joe the Toe, grabs a hold of you by the ankle as you're trying to get away and just picks you up and flings you against a wall.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like how Glitch is literally asleep on your arm right now. Sorry, that's a little bit out of character. But...
She's so asleep. So, yeah, you get slammed against the wall. It doesn't hurt you at all, but you don't like flying when it's not by magical means. The Logic, you managed to duck out of the way right there. Angie, it looked like their ruse of trying to pin you for throwing the apples didn't work because Joe the Toe is literally sitting on top of that rat-faced guy, just pummeling it like, down on his face. And he looks like he's probably going to kill him if somebody doesn't get a handle on him there. So he's just going like wild. And the next thing you see is a flash of silver. And
oh, no.
Yeah. So a sword has been drawn. And Pierre Black stabs Joe the Toe in the back. And all of a sudden, Big Joe the Toe, still with like snot and tears running down his face, slumps forward and completely covers the rat-faced apple thrower and just slumps over him and just with like a heavy, he was stabbed through the back and it must have gone right through his mighty heart and he just slumps to the floor dead. And the next thing you know, Pierre the Black is cleaning the blood off of his blade with a silk handkerchief and he sheaths the blade and he says, well, I guess I need another notch. And he taps the X's that he's carved into the hilt of his rapier. And the bar falls silent. So, the next thing
What the fuck?
Yeah, and just stabbed him right in the back.
Why say that? What the fuck?
Yeah. So Pierre spins towards you, and he says, "You can get the same if you want." And he points. He says, "That man was a danger to everyone in here. He was uncontrolled, and the farmers are just slowly building up anger there." And then one of them shouts, "You know, it was a bar fight, you idiot! You don't stab somebody in a bar fight." And, all the farmers are voicing agreement. Over behind the bar, you can see the Slagger Red has been a little bit sobered there. And in his hand, he has a heavy club. And he is walking over. And he turns to his wife and says, "Get the militia."
Angie, you got to stop this.
Yeah, so she runs out the door, and you can only assume that the militia is about to get summoned.
Do they know Joe the Toe's family?
Yeah, Joe the Toe. It's actually kind of funny. His mother is probably one of the smallest women in town. And he never had a father of any sort growing up. So there's some thought that she might have bedded some kind of giant. But yeah, just a tiny little woman. Goes to temple every day.
Size
and
queen.
I guess so. But yeah, now she is minus one son. He's her only son. And yeah, I'll say one thing about Joe the Toe is that he takes good care of his mother. You know, he doesn't spend all his money. In her old age, he is taking care of her. And now that provider is no more.
Well, I tell that to the soldier. I was like, you guys, well, I guess while Slagger's getting the militia, I'm like, you guys are going to have to say something to his mother. Like, I'm sure King Geordie wouldn't like this.
And then Pierre Black says, well, why don't you tell her? Tell her that her son should have never crossed Pierre Black.
Yeah, someone's going to get told.
He says, by
Angie,
who, old man?
do something
by
about
you?
this.
Yeah, you got it.
Angie's the only one. Angie's the only one of you with a sword. Yeah. And the rest of you just
I have a knife.
Yeah, you do have a knife.
Yeah, you're the law around here. These guys are lawless. They don't. I don't think they're clearly not here in the service of King Geordie. Sincerely doubt this.
That's true. It's true as fuck.
Oh.
These are
No,
brigands. These are like mercenaries in king's clothes, right?
Yeah. So when you say
I'm
this,
saying all of
when
this
you say
out
this,
loud.
like, yeah, when you say this,
And I say worse
Pierre
than me.
says, "Oh, a brigand, am I?" And he reaches into his coat and pulls out the tiny badge of service in King Little Geordie's army.
I love that it's tiny.
It's very small, but it is silver, and it is indeed the genuine artifact. Really, it's about the size of a medal, but the genuine artifact,
Noted.
the tiny crown of King Geordie the Little, which identifies him as indeed in the service of King Geordie.
So he keeps it in his coat.
Yeah.
Did you get that at a
Or
pawn
whatever.
shop?
The pawn shop. He's like,
Yes, it's you guys aren't for
Okay.
real. Angie, arrest these men.
all right. So immediately, when you say pawn shop, he whips out a hand and slaps you right across the face.
I want to pull out my sword
Yeah.
at that moment and be like, no.
Oh,
So
no.
are you drawing your sword, Angie? All right. So Zartet,
Yes.
you've just been slapped across the face by Pierre Black.
I'm
The
stepping
crack
back.
resounds through the room. And then Angie, you draw your sword. So your sword is a long sword. It's really like for a battlefield.
Cool.
It's mainly like so far, you know how to use the sword, but
Opposite.
mainly you just carry around a big sword so people will pay their tax. It's not a great weapon for fighting in a bar.
It's like,
But
is the
yeah.
ceiling of the bar so low that Angie can't even really like hold up her sword?
No, it's not. It's a reasonable. There's
What a
definitely, but some of the
bastard.
pillars and you know, the bar and so forth here, everybody's looking at you, like just at the size of the sword that you have drawn on him, and you're like, Jesus, you're gonna slaughter a horse with that thing? It's ridiculous. It's really a big sword for a little bar. And then so Pierre Black has his hand on the hilt of his sword, but he doesn't want to get run through either, so he doesn't draw it just yet. And he's like, "Who are you? You're a tax collector. You don't have authority here."
I'm just still kind of like stunned. I don't want to, you know, I'm so like shocked that he did that. You know, I don't want to just fly off the handle on this guy.
Yeah,
So
well,
I'm waiting for his next move and see how this showdown between Angie and
so
Blackie goes.
Pierre Black says, "I killed this man who was attacking and about to kill one of King Geordie's men, Garrus. Right? I saved Garrus's life." And as he says this, Zartet, you notice that actually he did not save Garrus's life. Garrus has been under Joe the Toe this
Yeah.
entire time. He's suffocated under Joe the Toe's bulk. while all this is going down, unbeknownst to these other people. But anyhow, Pierre Black is not saying this any longer. He says, "Put down your sword and get out of our way, and I'll forget your stupid name." He doesn't even know your name. And he's like, "We're leaving. Get out of our way." And so the soldiers make move to follow with him. None of them are armed, by the way. They're just hanging out. They don't need swords to drink at a bar. And you can see that a few of the soldiers just look queasy over what's gone down. They just wanted to get a drink. They did not necessarily want to see a man murdered.
Yeah. I guess I'll back away a bit.
All right. So you back away a little bit. And Pierre Black begins walking towards the door, and his men are following him. So it looks like they may just get away with this crime if you let them.
I'm going to say, Zartet, you going to take that shit?
Well, Zartet, are you going to take that shit?
I'm just kind of like, no. I was like, you guys aren't leaving.
And he turns around.
Not until the militia's here.
He's like, the militia? They can get some of this too if they want. I don't care about a bunch of bumpkins. He's like, we're leaving.
Saunter into our town.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want.
This man is responsible for plowing our fields. We tie a plow to him, and he plows the fields.
So Pierre Black just turns his back on you, and he's walking away, and they're filing out the door right there. If you guys want to act, it has to be now.
What's on the bar right now? Like, what items are on the bar?
So here's what you can see around you immediately. So there are like a few bottles, all the glasses that Slagger Red did not clear away from the free drinks that you guys received. There is the chair that's broken in half with like one of the legs has just been like knocked askance.
I guess what's within arm's reach of me on the bar?
Well, you're not really you're at like a group of tables and everything. There's some glasses and everything in the area. You have your dagger on your person. So Zartet, while you don't have a staff or anything with you, that chair leg would probably make an acceptable shillelagh. And then Kuntz, you are free to act as well. You also, Angie.
Well, I'm going to grab the chair leg and say my magic words,
So
and run up and take a swing at him.
This chair leg is a piece of solid black oak. This furniture was meant to stand up to considerable punishment, but sadly, Joe the Toe was just more than this chair could take. And so you feel the wood in your hand, and it is soon imbued with the strength of iron by your magics. All right, and then
as this is happening,
yep.
The minute that everybody's looking at Zartet and nobody's looking at me, I'm gonna try and bean Pierre Black in the fucking head with a glass or mug or something.
All right, so you're gonna whip a glass at Pierre Black. Kuntz, are you doing anything?
I'm gonna try and find a good vantage point and to see if maybe I gotta cast my one magic missile spell.
Okay. Yeah, people will freak out a little bit if you cast this spell, right? Like Zartet is able to imbue his stick without any flashing lights or anything like that.
Is there a darker area in the bar where maybe nobody will notice me?
Yeah, you can head off towards a corner a little bit, towards the area near the pisser. Okay, and then Angie, are you doing anything?
I want to be ready with my sword.
All right, you're still holding your sword. You haven't put it away, but you just let these guys walk right past you. You weren't ready to fight them at this point. So a mug goes sailing through the air.
Yeah, I'm running towards the door. The mug's going towards Pierre.
So,
and I guess it's going to hit him. He's going to turn around, and then he's going to club to the face.
All right. So this is exactly what happens here. So logic is a fair shot with that tankard, and it goes in kind of like a tumbling arc through the air. Little droplets of beer sloshing out of it in a spiral, and you see it running through the air. just as Zartet is striding purposely forward with the chair leg. Pierre wheels towards the sound of footsteps and begins to draw his sword, and just as he does, he is smashed in the face by a glass tankard. It just shatters everywhere, all over him. And while he is trying to recover, Zartet, you go in for a swing, but you slip on beer and actually fall face first. And the Pierre falls over top of you. The two of you go down in a heap, and the next thing you know, like the sword is only halfway out of its scabbard, and the two of you are punching and kicking and biting, and it has become a fracas. And immediately the soldiers circle around and start kicking at you, and they're trying to pull you out of there. So there are like 3 or 4 guys on top of Zartet, just pummeling him, and a few of them are getting some licks in on Pierre Black as well while they have the opportunity.
Nice.
But yeah, they're getting beat down here. So Angie, you were the closest and have the option to act here. Yeah, but you're holding a sword also. Yeah.
Can I go up and try to like fucking smash something on Pierre?
Well,
You
have
could
to
smash the flat end of your blade.
Ooh, just as a realism note here, there is no actual like in fighting, like smashing somebody with the flat of their blade. That is a story thing. In a real fight, you wind up like chopping off somebody's fucking hand doing that. It is very dangerous to do this, and it's not something that somebody who fought with swords would ever do.
Well, can I like grab like a fucking pitcher or something like that and just smash it on him?
Yeah, there's a pitcher on the bar that you could just go over there. So if you smash it on him while he's in this fracas there, honestly, like you approach with it's a full pitcher, by the way. Slagger Red had been midway through pouring it and he forgot about it. You have this full pitcher of beer. And there's all these guys like around Zartet and Pierre Black just like kicking and booting and everything at him, but you really can't get in there to like throw it at him. You could throw beer over the whole situation, see what that did, or you could hit one of the guys that's kicking him.
Yeah, one of the guys that's kicking him just.
Okay, so you go up.
One of them out.
Yeah, you go up behind one of the guys that actually delivers like a pretty wicked kick right into the ass of Zartet. Ooh, that one's going to leave a bruise.
Oh.
Zartet, you're taking some damage here while you're getting pummeled, by the way. You've taken 2 points of damage, in addition to the 1 from getting smashed against the chair. So you've taken 3 so far. So, Angie, you go up and try to brain somebody from behind with the pitcher. It's actually harder to do than you would think, and the glass handle snaps off while you're trying to do it. So the pitcher just sloshes a ton of beer all over everyone. And you see Slagger Red shout out, "Hey, that's my beer!" And the pitcher does shatter, but rather than doing like any damage, it just kind of disorients everybody that's going on. And one of them wheels on you. He's like, "You're supposed to be on our side." Even though their side is just, I guess, murdering dudes for no reason. And he like just whips out a right cross and actually nails you right in the nose with it. Oof. It is quite painful, and it just jabs you right in the nose, and immediately your eyes water up, stung and everything. You take 2 points of damage from this punch.
In this moment, what are the other farmers doing? Is there any way I can stir them up and be like, get them?
The farmers are a little bit taken aback by what they've seen, but you can feel like a current of anger running through them here.
Oh, I'm definitely going to be like, guys, get them.
Yeah, so you try to you just pipe up and let's get them in that very distinct Pies fisherman accent, and immediately the farmers are spurred into action, and they rush forward and join into the fray. Now it is an all-out knockdown, drag-out brawl.
Prizes.
So Zartet, as soon as all these guys stopped kicking you, you were able to get out from under them, and you wind up facing off against Pierre. So Pierre draws his sword and takes a swing at you. And you just have your chair leg there. So let's see. You try to defend yourself with the chair leg. He just takes a big chop at you, like as if he's trying to behead you with his rapier. And you bring up the shillelagh to parry, and his blade snaps right in half against it. Yeah, it just snaps in twain with a metal clang. And
these guys are fucked.
Yeah, it's not how you swing a rapier, but he just let his emotions get away from him, and he's looking at you with his broken sword, and you have your shillelagh, and you have the option to follow up with an attack if you would like.
Yeah, can I do like a counter, like a parry off that?
Yeah, indeed. So you counterattack his parry, and the shillelagh hits him upside of the head, and it's lights out for him right there. You can just hear a heavy crack, as if you were nailing, like a nail through to a board in one swing, just.
Oh,
and Pierre lights out, hits the floor, and seeing stars there.
Nice.
So the farmers are rallying now, and they're beating the absolute shit out of these guys there. Logic, you've got, so you're close in there. You can see a spot where two soldiers are facing off against two farmers. The soldiers' backs are to you.
Oh, I'm gonna fucking... Oh. Nah, I won't stab one of them, but I want to.
Well, there's other options. You could punch one right in the kidney if you felt like it.
Oh yeah, I would definitely do that.
Okay.
Or if I could grab something to amplify my force into their neck or something. Like, I don't want to kill them, but I want to kill them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's a good way to kill someone. What's up to you?
I mean, it's the King's Men.
You have only a second to decide.
I'm gonna grab something.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, a bar stool. Smash over their fucking heads.
There you go.
You pick up a stool and lift it high in the air, and it just comes crashing down. And unfortunately, you hit also the farmer. You just kind of knock the guy in the back, and it knocks him over the farmer and sends both of them falling to the ground. And then the other soldier wheels on you and just like takes a swing at you. But before he can even connect, the farmer that he was kind of squaring off again just socks him right in the side of the head, and down he goes.
Nice.
All right, so Kuntz, you're over there taking a position in this whole thing. You could cast a spell, you could throw a chair, you could dance a jig, you could do whatever you'd like there.
You're gonna cast Magic Missile at Pierre Black.
Pierre Black is out cold on the ground.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, so you can cast Magic Missile if you want to.
Still do it.
I mean, I can't miss now. Might as well cast it.
But it never misses. It's Magic Missile. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm casting. These are my casting.
Okay. So just
like, what the fuck are you doing?
Filled with
this?
The air in the bar, it just becomes like especially charged, and the next thing you know, bolts of light are streaking from Kuntz's hands and just hammering into Pierre Black on the town. The bolts hit him with concussive force, and there's like pow, 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 and it's like a string of firecrackers going off.
What body did I hit him? Like in the crotch area, the chest?
Well, he was like slumped face down, so you're hitting him like on the side of the face, and just really nailing this guy. And the next thing you know, he's just black and blue. There's like a big smoking crater on his back, and he is really taking the worst for the wear. And everybody in the bar stops and like, what the fuck was that? And the soldiers are especially spooked, and it's clear that the tide has turned. The soldiers are going down, and part of the reason why the tide has turned is that Slagger Red has waded into the fray with his club, and it seems like he cannot miss. He is working on a kind of drunken race. Yeah, he is laying these guys out left and right. And the next thing you know, the scuffle is over. The farmers are picking themselves up, and you have all defeated these King Geordie's men right there.
Is Blackie dead?
I hope so. He's gonna be
Is there
super
some way
angry.
I
if
can-
he's
No.
not.
So,
Is there some way I can attempt to surreptitiously approach Pierre Black?
Pierre Black
Make it look
is
like I'm
smoking
trying
on the
to-
ground. Yeah. He is
He's
just laying
smoking on
there.
the ground.
Yeah, he's smoldering,
I want to.
and
wanna
he
act
is
like-
hurting for certain.
I want to act
Offer him
like
a
I'm
drink?
providing ministrations,
Yeah.
but I want to steal his fucking King Geordie badge.
Ooh.
You want to steal his badge? All right, you were easily able to lift his badge. There was no one there to stop you. You are now an
Perfect.
official agent of King Geordie the Little.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting what happens to that.
Yeah. So,
Can I go arrest him
like
now?
you
I already have an idea.
still no militia coming. It's taking their sweet time to get them together. But Slagger Red, you know what? Piss on these guys. I don't like these fucking soldiers anyways, and their tax and their nonsense and everything. And wouldn't you know it, he actually goes up and undoes the front of his pants and starts to piss on Pierre Black.
It was
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, really and
Well,
truly.
you guys could jump in. I kind of got to go too, as a matter of fact.
So you are welcome to join him, or he can be the only one there. But that's how this all went down. All of you were just hanging out in a bar together and got into this big kerfluffle there and really beat the living shit out of 6 soldiers who killed Joe the Toe for no reason at all.
So mean.
Yeah.
In the days to come,
I mean, I kind of want to tar and feather this guy. You know what I mean?
oh, you can
I don't
do
want
whatever you like, but it all began with Slagger Red taking a big old horse piss onto this guy.
to.
I love that it was not one of us.
And
But just that's the way it worked out.
before too long, the militia arrives, but it's not the local militia. In fact, what it is
Oh.
another group of soldiers
Oh god.
that were actually coming to meet these guys here. They started the party a little bit early. So there are a few members of the local militia. And you try to make your case to the new soldiers and explain what happened, but they find Pierre Black nearly dead, like obviously arcaned up, and someone has pissed all over him. It's not his own piss that he's covered in. And the 4 of you are swiftly taken into shackles for befouling a captain of King Geordie the Little and beating up the guards and so forth. And as for Joe the Toe, there is no justice for him, nor the man that is crushed underneath him there. Soon all of you are tried before a court and sentenced to apologize in person to King Geordie the Little. And as this dream concludes, you all of you
Didn't hear that.
We didn't hear that. You got to do another effect.
No, I'm not gonna do it. So the dream concludes, and all of you wake up the next morning, ready for your next adventure, and remember the time when you were just a bunch of drunks beating the piss out of people in a tavern back in Pies, which is now a smoldering ruin, much like
Oh, how this world has
Pierre
changed.
Black. Well, that is it for the week. Thank you for everybody who rejoined us for episode 15 of IRC D&D Adventures right there.
Damn.
Thank you to Angie and Kuntz and Logic and everything. We are off the air. Wait, Zartet in the background. Please cast a druid spell on Logic's microwave. What the fuck? All right. Thanks,
I think people are very mad about the microwave.
All right, let me get out.